So even though I was raised in a Christian home, I dealt with a lot of self-hatred as a kid and developed some addictions. Started smoking weed at a young age. Led into a lot of alcohol, and through my 20s, I was introduced to a lot of other drugs, cocaine, ecstasy, and it became a daily thing for me. I played in a lot of bands and was introduced to that bar life, and that became my life, and that's what really all I cared about. I ended up meeting a girl and we got married. We had a couple kids. My first son, David, he's 8, and I had another son born 10 and a half months after David was born, and I was still dealing with addiction, alcohol, marijuana. The night before Father's Day, we were drinking, and I ended up getting pretty intoxicated, and that morning, which happened to be Father's Day in 2014, I woke up to find my 3-month-old baby had passed away. I thought that would have been a moment of surrender to Christ, but instead I went the complete opposite way, and I developed a crippling meth addiction. Instead of alcohol, I chose a different vice, a different addiction, and meth. It was my master. It ran my life, and became a daily thing, and that carried on for about 7 years. And so for 7 years of my life, I hated myself, I hated people around me, and I cared about one thing, and that was my addiction. There was a point in the middle of the darkness where I felt like I was alone. I felt like no one understood what it was like. I lost my son, so I used that as my excuse to use and to get high. I didn't realize that my brothers did lose their nephew. My mom and dad did lose their grandson. And not only that, but they were losing their own son. Finally, I came to a point where I was desperately in need of deliverance, and I surrendered my life to Christ, and He's changed everything. So I pray that this song is able to minister to you the way it's ministered to me throughout my life. God bless you.
So it was 2 weeks after we had found out about the passing of my nephew, Dustin, and it had really put our whole family in a tailspin, because for years and years we had been praying for Drew's deliverance from the vices and the addictions that had held him. And I lead worship up at these camps up at Forest Home in the summers, and 2 weeks after Father's Day I found myself up here just really broken, and I was sitting right here on this stage at the piano, and I was reading through Psalm 107 as I was praying for this season of deliverance for my little brother. And so I read through this psalm, and it came alive. It says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good, for His loving kindness is everlasting. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom He has redeemed from the hand of the adversary, and gathered from the lands, from the east, from the west, from the north to the south. They wandered in the wilderness, in a desert region. They did not find a way to an inhabited city. They were hungry and thirsty, and their souls fainted within them. But then they cried out to the Lord in their trouble, and He delivered them out of their distress." And it was that came alive to me, thinking my little brother needs deliverance. And we thought that maybe this broken season, this tragedy, would drive him to the Lord. And when we watched him go darker into his addictions, we all became helpless. But I had this deep hope and desire in my life to see my little brother delivered. And so that day when I was sitting here at the piano, I wrote this song called "He Delivered Me" from Psalm 107, with hopes that someday my little brother would be able to sing that as his deliverance song. And here we are, where he gets to share how God delivered him from something that seemed hopeless to so many, and seeing his life transformed and changed. So that's what this song is about.
through the desert, lost beyond all measure, I had gone astray. Thirsty, longing for the river flowing from your mountain, it seemed so far away. So I cried out from my soul, I reached out to the Holy Father, who is faithful to reply. And he delivered me from my death in the desert, and he led me to his grace. He delivered me from the storm and the wreckage, and he carried me away. Always you are strong to save me, faithful though I'm failing, following your ways. Your love is patient and unchanging, selfless and enduring. With you I choose to stay. And so I cry out from my soul, I reach out to my Holy Father, who is faithful to reply. And he delivered me from my death in the desert, and he led me to his grace. Yeah, he delivered me from the storm and the wreckage, and he carried me away. So my soul cries out with a grateful heart. He gave it all for me, for all eternity. So my soul